I've been loyal to Garmin for years through marathons, high rocks training, and even logging every single mile on Strava. But dare I say, I'm an Apple girly now? And I can't believe that I'm saying this, but I kind of love it. I've been wearing the new Apple Watch Ultra 3 for a week through training, sleeping, living, and getting around New York City. And honestly, I get the hype. So I'm going to be spilling the tea on this $800 Apple Watch and tell you my honest opinion to see if this Garmin girly is switching teams. If you don't know who I am, my name is Julia. I like to make wellness and fitness content, and this is the Daily Deets. Getting right into it, let's talk about what's on everyone's mind, and that's the price. So let's talk numbers, because this thing definitely lives in a premium territory. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 starts at $799, and if you want a different watch band that's a little more premium, it could run you close to $900. And I know what you're thinking, that's way too much for a watch, but this is more than just a watch. It's your fitness tracker, your sleep tracker, your step counter, your fitness buddy, your safety device. It doesn't look that bad either. So if you want one device that tracks everything seamlessly with all of your other Apple devices, this is probably it. And I know it probably sounds like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid already early in this video, but might I remind you, I literally have been wearing a Garmin for the past 5 years, and I thought I was going to get buried in it. Now let's talk about the looks. The Ultra 3 comes in one size. It's pretty big. It's 49 millimeters, so you can say it's a big girl watch. For me, I wish it was a little smaller because I'm just a little lady. This watch feels a little massive on me. But even though it's big, it's giving some big watch energy. I run sub 2-hour marathons. I will run an ultra marathon on the weekend for fun. It's giving big energy. It comes in 2 different colors, natural titanium and black titanium. I went with the natural titanium because I wanted just something a little different than my all black Garmin. Now, what's interesting about this watch is it's actually 3D printed, which makes it lighter, stronger, and leaves space for a bigger battery, which if you've used Apple Watches in the past, which I haven't, but the tea and the lore and the drama is always that the batteries historically have not been the best. Also, it's scratch resistant. Unfortunately, my Garmin has taken a beating. I have scratches all over that Garmin. It's also water resistant and dust resistant. It's basically built for the most chaotic person, and that's me. The biggest selling point of this watch is the display. It's literally massive. Apple gave this watch its brightest screen ever. I sound crazy saying this because I'm really not techie. I feel like some people probably care about this. The screen is an LTPO 3 OLED display that hits 300 nits of brightness. So what does that even mean? Translation. When you're outside mid-run or you're fighting for your life during a high rocks competition and you're in the sun, you can actually see the screen, even if it's full sunlight. When I was doing some research about how past Apple Watches compared to this Apple Watch, one of the other big complaints outside of battery life was the bezel. Never heard of this in my life. The bezel is the area around the screen. And with the Ultra 3, it's thinner. She's a thin girl. Victoria's Secret models are back. Thin bevels are also back. So now the screen is bigger and better. It's giving mini iPhone on my wrist. That works better than my iPhone because I have an old iPhone that's barely hanging on. But the cool thing about mini iPhone on the wrist situation is I have no issues wearing this from the gym straight to work. So let's get into the drama, the battery life. This is the tea. This is what everybody's always talking about. This is where us Garmin girlies talk smack to Apple because I can wear my Garmin for a full week and she's not dying. She's not. But I've heard the Apple Watches, they don't do very well. I'm hearing gotta charge it once a day, but they finally fixed that. The Ultra 3 gives you 42 hours of battery life. That's almost 2 days. And I've had this on my wrist non-stop. I'm sleeping in it. I'm using it on the subway. I'm using it for maps on my city bike. I'm listening to music. I'm calling my mom. And it has not died on me midday yet. Plus, it charges insanely fast. You can throw it on a charger, get in the shower for 15 minutes, and you get 12 hours of charge just from that. So it's not totally at Garmin level, but it's a lot better than it was. Apple's working on the battery life just like I'm working on my love life. Now I feel like this is something that maybe the men will care about, and somebody like me, a little lady, I don't care about it that much, is the speed of the watch. The Ultra 3 runs on Apple's new S10 chip, which just means it's really fast and it's really smooth and it's zipping around. And once again, it's a lot better than my old iPhone. Maybe I'll just replace this for my phone. Now, the main reason that I started wearing a smartwatch about 5 years ago is because I wanted to start tracking my health and my fitness and getting into all of the data. And this is something that Apple does really, really well. The Ultra 3 has every sensor you could ever imagine. The heart rate tracking is extremely accurate. It has dual frequency GPS that keeps up with Garmin, and I even tested this on my run. Because I'm a lady, I really do care about menstrual tracking. It does that, plus skin temperature tracking. Because everybody's obsessed with sleep analytics, it does that as well. Andrew Huberman would be proud. Of course, your classic blood oxygen and heart rate. And one of the coolest features of the Apple Watch is the crash detection. I live in New York City. I'm always riding around on a city bike, and I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I am scared every time I get on that bike that I am going to crash or get hit by a car. So now that I have this on, hopefully the first responders get me really quick. Hopefully I have a chance. It also has satellite SOS. So if you ever find yourself stranded on the top of a mountain during a hike or lost on a trail run, even if you don't have cell reception, you can use the satellites in the sky and you can contact help. Now you're probably thinking, Julia, this sounds very similar to a Garmin. Apple and Garmin sound very similar, but they're actually, in my opinion, in two completely different lanes. Garmin wins for everything hardcore data, from recovery time, VO2 max, training readiness, and all of the other nerdy Strava metrics that we all love, and all of my 5 followers give me kudos for on Strava. Now Apple, she's your everyday gal. She not only has everything when it comes to health and wellness tracking, yes, she tracks a lot of the same things that the Garmin does, but the wellness insights on your sleep, your temperature, heart rate trends, stress cycle tracking, Apple takes all of these insights and seamlessly integrates with your iPhone. But if I'm being honest, Garmin also does track my stress, and it's always telling me that I'm stressed. So I'm very curious if I wear an Apple Watch on one wrist and a Garmin on the other, if it will track my stress the same. Because I'm a stressed girl, okay? I just am. It's just who I am. So if you're more data obsessed and you're an unprofessional athlete like me, you might still be a Garmin girly. But if you're data obsessed, but you're also like doing a million other things and you want all the features and the bells and the whistles, the Ultra might be for you. Let's talk about comfort and everyday wear. If I'm going to wear something 24/7, it better not only look good, but it has to feel good. Now, I will say personally, a smaller watch for sleeping, when you sleep like me with like your hands and your arms everywhere, is a little more comfortable compared to the Ultra 3 for me. But if this watch is a little more proportional to your body, you probably won't have the same issues as me. The nice thing about the Ultra is when I'm in the gym, I feel legit. And when I'm on my runs, I feel legit. But if I'm going into the office and I'm a business lady, I also feel legit without feeling like I'm wearing a super technical watch. And for me, that's a big deal because I'm not a girly who's buying a bunch of jewelry, okay? I'm spending my money on things like running shoes and 8 sleeps and Oura rings and pretty much anything that is like health tech related. That's where I want to spend my money. So if I'm going to spend $800 on a watch, it better be something that I can wear all day long. If you live in a big city, the Apple Watch just makes sense. This is one thing I didn't realize and I wasn't really thinking about before I had it, but now, living in New York City, I need this watch because it makes my life so much easier. Rather than fumbling for my phone in my pocket with my gloves as it's getting cold out, I have my Apple Watch and I can Apple Pay for literally anything. Whether I'm grabbing a coffee, whether I'm going into the subway, it's super easy and super seamless. Also, like I said, I'm a city bike girl, okay? It's who I am. Rather than holding my phone in my hand and looking at my maps, I can just put my navigation on my Apple Watch and it talks to me and tells me where to go in the city. And I know my mom doesn't like it, but I do sometimes go on runs at night. And if I'm going to go on runs at night, I need to make sure that I'm being smart. So if you don't have a bodyguard with me, I can use my Apple Watch because there's a flashlight that you can put on to flash as you run. And I don't know, if something weird happens and I fall, then I can easily call 911. Or the worst thing that could happen, if somebody snatched me before I go on my run on my Apple Watch, I can set a check-in with a friend or a family member. And if they feel like something's going a little weird, then they can track me and find me and bring me back home. It just feels like this watch makes a lot of sense if you're in a city. I'm also personally trying to not look at my phone as much when I'm in public because I feel like it's ripping me out of the moment. I've even gotten so bad that I actually brick my phone so I can't access my social media throughout the day. So having an Apple Watch is easy because it's even just like one less temptation of going on Instagram and scrolling through my feed. It doesn't just make me look cool. It doesn't make me look like I casually run, I don't know, sub 2 marathons. It actually just gives me a lot more freedom and flexibility in my day-to-day in the city. All right, final thoughts. As a Garmin girly, I never thought I was going to say this. You know that TikTok song that's like, this feels illegal? That's how I feel right now. I'm not breaking up with Garmin, but I've officially added Apple to the group chat. I'm playing for both teams, okay? But I actually get the hype around the Apple Watch. Now, the Ultra 3, in my opinion, isn't perfect, but I don't really know a watch that actually is perfect. The battery still does not touch Garmin, and if you're super deep into some of your performance data, you're gonna miss some of that as well. But everything else, like the design, the display, the health features, and even all of the benefits that you get that you can use when you're bopping around through your life, it just kind of makes sense. Would you ever switch? Or are you going to stay loyal to Garmin forever? If you love Apple or if you are part of the Garmin gang, let me know below. And if you like this video, please drop me a like or a comment. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I see you next time. Bye.